Good morning, friends. I'm showing you how I make my homemade chai. Make this virtually every morning. So I've got my ginger I'm going to grate. So you're going to get some fresh ginger, and I use probably about that size. So about the size of my thumb. And I love this little grater. I use 4 breakfast blend tea bags, and I love Stash Organic. And then some cardamom, whole cardamom. And so you'll see when I come to use this, I actually grate this, use the pestle and mortar to grind this. And so I'm not very good at measurements, but I just kind of tip a bunch of that in there, and that's really to taste. And then I've got my milk ready to go and some water. So just going to put my tea bags in the saucepan. So I pull off the string, pop the tea bag in, and of course you can use loose leaf tea, which would be fantastic. I've used that as well. So I'm just putting my 4 tea bags in. There we go. And then I am going to put the heat on, just turn it up to high, and I'm going to put a little bit of water in just to get that going. If you've got gas, that's fantastic. And then I'm going to grate the ginger right into this. And ginger, as you know, is so good for you. So just getting all that ginger in. Grating it all down straight into the pot. Beautiful. It smells so good. And that water's heating up as well, which is great. Make sure you don't grate your fingers. It's happened a few times to me. It's not good. So that ginger has gone straight in with the tea bags and a little bit of water. And then I'll just let that last bit go in there. I'm going to try and get all that ginger out. And then I'm going to add in the rest of the water. So I've just got a very full tea kettle here that I'm pouring in. And as you can see with this, it's about 2/3, maybe a little bit more, 3/4 of the pot, the pan, should I say. And so we're going to keep that on the high heat to bring it to a boil. In the meantime, I'm going to grind up, or break down, should I say, this cardamom to release the flavour. This goes in last. This goes in with after the milk's gone in. So I'm just breaking that down. Oh my gosh, the aroma is so aromatic. It's so beautiful. So if you can't get out to Inspire Cafe, a good place to start at home so you can keep yourself going. So I've just ground that down. It doesn't look too different, but it's ready to go. And now I'm going to wait for the water to come to a boil. I actually had boiled up my water in the kettle beforehand, and so this is going to come to a boil pretty quickly, but you can, it's very nice just to put your water into the pot and bring it to a boil on here. I did bring it to a boil beforehand so this video could work out time-wise for you. And so this is just starting to boil. That ginger and the black tea smells so good. Maybe you can begin to hear it and see it. It's just starting to come up to a boil here. So I think for me 4 tea bags works really well, and so you're just going to see what works best for you. You can see the ginger being infused into the water. And it's nearly coming to a boil. Once it's come to a boil, I'm going to add in the milk. So I'm just going to give this a bit of a shake here. And my husband always says to me, well, how much milk? So just see how much is in this container here, because I don't really measure anything. But for me, when it comes to tea, it's more about colour. The colour that you can, the strength of the tea that you're looking for. And so you'll be able to see how much of this milk I use here. Once this has come to a boil, I'll add it in. So lovely to wake up to this in the morning. And you get to practice patience. So once I've made this, I leave this to cool a little bit and I go and do my practice, my yoga practice and meditation, and then after that, come and have a lovely cup of chai. So this is still just about coming to a boil. This is so beautiful. I wonder if you can hear that at home. Here we go. So the black tea and the fresh ginger are just now really infusing into the boiling water. And you don't want to rush this, because it is that infusion of the flavors that makes the chai so rich. So it feels so nourishing. It's coming to a boil here. So different recipes call for different times to add in the cardamom, and the recipe that I use comes from the Himalayan Institute, where they say to add it in at the end after the milk. It would be the last thing that gets infused. So now I'm going to add in my milk, and you can see how I'm going to just watch for the colour of this tea. That looks good. So I probably used half of what was in that container. And of course you can always add more tea in, more milk in. Now, what we're going to do is let this boil up. I'm actually going to add in the cardamom right now. Just put that straight in there. And then we'll just give this a little stir. So I'm just going to stir this around. Sometimes the tea bags break, but you can see you've got fresh ginger in here and the cardamom. And so when you come to drink this, you're going to strain it, right? So now I'm going to bring this to a boil, and according to Ayurvedic techniques, you would bring it to the boil 3 times. So you'd bring it to a boil, take it off the boil, bring it back onto the stove to bring it back to a second boil, take it off, and then a 3rd time. And then you would let it cool. Looks like one of my tea bags is broken in here. That's why it's very speckledy. And that's okay because we're going to strain it. So when it comes to decanting this into a mug, I use my strainer and a ladle. So I will scoop it out and ladle it through. So I'll have those ready for when I come to drink it. But right now, again, I've put in the milk and the cardamom, and now I'm going to wait for this to come to a boil. And I'll do that 3 times, and then I just let it rest. So again, another lesson in patience here. And it's just smelling so beautiful. But see how easy this is to make at home, and you get to start your day with a beautiful cup of chai. Nourishing, health-giving, nurturing chai. So now the black tea, the ginger, and the cardamom are infusing into the milk. Sometimes I do actually make this in the evening, and then let it stand overnight in the fridge so it really infuses. So it's just beginning to come to a boil now. So this is my first boil. Beautiful. Very nice. And I'll take it off the boil. And I'll bring it back on for a second. And I'll take it off. And now a third boil. Those 3 boils are said to balance the doshas. I'm actually going to turn that ring off now. And then I'm going to take that right off the heat and let it cool over here. And then I will look forward to having a cup of that after my practice. Enjoy, friends.